Hello everyone, it's time for a market update, and this is going to be a fun market update. How is the 2024 real estate season starting off? And so that's what I'm going to be going over today in pretty good detail of what we're seeing county by county in the real estate market. We ended last year pretty flat, stalled out as far as transactions, prices barely up. And this year, a lot of predictions that we had made as far as inventory increasing as much as 30%, and seeing transactions recover more, real estate being sold because of that. So I'm just going to dig in and get started on a more detailed update county by county. So when we look at the average sales price for Rockwall County for the month of January, we're talking about the month of January, was up 9%. Kaufman County down 4% almost. Collin County down 2%. And Dallas County up 15%. So basically, we were all over the place. Again, areas where you see less new construction, you tend to see more price increase because they're still dealing with the inventory problem. But one thing I want to point out on this update, I'm going to talk to you, the homeowner, because if I pull in new construction, it helps you, the buyer, understand what's going on in the market. But I want to really get more detail and help you, the seller, and help you understand how the seller market is going to change this year and what we're seeing so far. So all these numbers I'm giving you county by county are going to be existing home sales. So basically, as far as average price, we saw the price basically stabilize to increase just a little bit if we take an average. And then we'll move on to the next slide. We are going to look at how long are the homes sitting on the market. Days on market. Rockwall County was 63 days, up 24% almost. Kaufman County up 7%. And then Collin County down 15%. And Dallas County up 7%. So in general, it looks like we're seeing the days on market are increasing, which is what we expect when we expect to see more inventory in this new year. Again, it's still not a very long time, and it's all over the place, and it's just going to depend on where you're at, what county, what neighborhood, to tell you exactly what that days on market is. But in general, it's slightly increasing over last year. And remember, last year we began to see homes stay on the market longer. So if we move on to the next slide, we got month supply. So what this tells you is whether you have a seller's market, balanced market, or a buyer's market. In DFW in general, we have been in nothing but a seller's market. And we are still in general in a seller's market in most areas of DFW. If we look at Rockwall County, 3.2 months, up 52%. Kaufman County, 3.8 months, up 27% basically, to 3.8 months. And so really when you get to that 4 is where you begin to get into a balanced market. So Rockwall and Kaufman County they're inching closer towards that balanced market. It's still, I would lean towards more of a seller's market, but homes are sitting longer. Collin County is 1.6 months. Now, it is increasing at just unbelievable levels. Dallas County is 2.1 months. So Collin and Dallas County are strong seller's markets still. We're seeing that slow down, but they're still unbelievable seller's market. So if you're a seller, you're still in a seller's market in those counties for sure, and beginning to lose a little leverage and getting to more of a balanced market in Kaufman and Rockwall County. So now let's move to the next slide. So we're looking at the homes for sale, the amount of inventory that we have, and this is our biggest culprit. The biggest problem with the prices going up is because we don't have inventory. The biggest reason why transactions have been in a recession for the last almost 2 years And what we're seeing in Rockwall County, up 28%. Kaufman County up 4%. And Collin County down 1%. And Dallas County up 7%. So in general, again, we're all over the place, but from a 28% increase to a -1 in Collin County, overall, we're seeing more homes for sale in January over January of last year. Again, that's a good thing. We need that. We need inventory to get our market here in DFW moving again. New listings. So that's going to be our next slide, new listings. This is the big one. This is the biggest, I think, telltale of what's going on in our market here in DFW and what we expected. And we expected to see more listings come in, more people list their home for sale, more options for you as a buyer when you're out there, because people are getting used to the new, which is the interest rate environment around 6%. And people are, we just get discontent by nature, and we want a new home. We want something new and shiny, or we want to downsize. We're tired of this big house. And we can only sit so long, and that's our human nature, and that's what we're beginning to see trickle in here at the beginning of 2024. So let's look at this new listing slide. Rockwall County up 58% in January. That is back to 2019 levels, pre-pandemic levels of inventory or new listings coming in. So that's a good sign for our market. Kaufman County up 8%, Collin County up almost 13%, Dallas County up 12.6%. So across the board, we're seeing more inventory over last year. Now again, last year was anemic. We need to see more like the Rockwall numbers, the 57% type increases to really move the whole DFW market. But the predictions, not only that I made, but I took my predictions from the consensus out there, is that we're going to see 30% more inventory. So what does that mean for you, the seller and the buyer? Seller could mean that we could see prices they're really going to stay where they're at, maybe even correct year over year a small amount. But on the buy side, that gives you more options. That gives you more leverage, and it just makes a more healthy real estate market for us that will love to make moves. We all do. It's just human nature. So that's good news for you as a home seller and buyer, because ultimately, even if you're a seller, you might take a little bit of a hit on the price, but you're going to be able to find something where the last 3 years you haven't been able to do that. So that's good news. I expect to see that continue to increase over the next few months as I do these updates and we get into listing time. And that's really April through August, where we see the most activity here in the housing market. So now let's move on to the next slide, and we are looking at pending sales. So what are sales looking like for this start of 2024? And the answer is they're all over the place. But I would say beginning to indicate we're getting tremors. January, you'll see here in a minute, we got a tremor. But if we look at the pending slide of closed sales expected in February, we are going to be looking at Rockwall County down 12%, Kaufman County down 34% almost, Collin County down 13%, Dallas County down 5%. So sales going into February over February last year are looking down. But when we go, let's not just look at that. We need to look at what happened in January on closed sales over January of last year, and Rockwall County was up 21%, Kaufman County up 4%, Collin County up 23%, and Dallas County up 9%. So in other words, we've seen a big bump in sales in January over last year, and then here it pulled back. What happens is you see that bump in sales as this market is shifting to a more normal market of transactions, you're going to get sales, and then it draws down inventory, and so then that slows down sales again, and that's what I believe we're seeing. We've seen a bump in sales in January, and then now we're seeing what looks like a drop in sales in February year over year. And I think we're just going to bounce back and forth like that, but more to better levels, more transactions overall for 2024 in real estate, which that means for you, a home seller and buyer, that you have more opportunity. It's easier to move. It's easier to sell and buy a home all in one. So that's my market update in general. Just to summarize, we're just seeing tremors of more activity. Everybody getting used to the new, which is the interest rate environment. We're going to be in this higher. I hear a lot about lower interest rates coming, lower interest. We had a CPI read today that came in, and the inflation is slowing, but it's slowing at a slow pace. Job market is so strong. I just personally, my opinion, I don't see much interest rate correction unless we have a economic downturn, a full-blown recession in the United States this year. I really believe this is the new. We're going to see, we might get a little bit of a correction in interest rates, but between 6 and 7% is what I expect. And that's what everybody is getting used to, that new. And ultimately, that is more close to the average over our history as far as the 30-year mortgage, and it's more healthy. The free money, we've seen what it did, what it caused in inflation, etc. And so that's my market update. Looking forward to hitting this every month with you guys. I think 2024 is going to be a fun year to be talking about real estate. And please reach out to us if you have any questions, if you need any real estate needs, whether it's residential, property management, or commercial transactions. We'd love the opportunity to serve you. Have a